What is the one thing that you can do to immediately and confidently solo on your guitar? This is a concept that I have taught to many students over the years, and I'm happy to say it always works. It works with beginners, it works with intermediates, and it works with advanced players too. By doing this, you're going to achieve meaningful and melodic success by actually playing less on the guitar. It's called limitation practice, and it works for any guitarist at any skill level. It will work for you. Let me give you a few examples of what I mean, and I'll show you how to incorporate it into your own playing. And if you're just getting started with soloing, make sure to download my free Beginner Soloist Handbook, which is a PDF I've put together for you, which includes scales and arpeggios of all types. It's a great resource, and it's available for free down in the description. Let me explain this concept by using the scale that most guitarists tend to learn first, and that is the minor pentatonic. I'll use the most common shape of the minor pentatonic, and I will begin on A, and it looks like this. Now when we first learn a shape like this and we try to use it to improvise over a piece of music, it almost always ends up sounding like this. Now this kind of makes sense to us because we learn the entire scale and we feel like we need to incorporate all those notes, but it ends up sounding scalar and not musical at all. And if you want to learn music, you need to practice in a musical way, not a scalar way. With limitation practice, you'll play fewer notes and end up sounding more musical. Now I learned this concept years ago when I brought Ron Thal, known as Bumblefoot, to my music academy, and he was teaching people on stage and bringing them up and letting them jam, and this gentleman came up and played in a very scalar way across his minor pentatonic because that's all he knew. Ron told him you can only play this note and this note. So he only gave him 2 fret positions that he was allowed to play on, and then the band started playing again and the guy started sounding musical with only 2 fret positions he could use because he started playing more rhythmically, he started playing with bends and with hammer-ons and things like that that make it sound more musical. So he was listening to the music better. It was an immediate transformation for the gentleman. So let's use our knowledge of the minor pentatonic scale and just use these 4 fret positions on the 4th string and 3rd string. Just those 4 fret positions, and I call it that because I want you to be able to bend the note to maybe another note higher. So what we're going to do is simply limit ourselves to those fret positions and try to improvise. Let's give it a shot. So as you can hear, now I'm not only able to listen to what I'm playing, but I'm listening to the music more. And I'm putting space in there. I'm playing with more rhythm, with bends, hammer-ons, pull-offs, things like that. This absolutely works for beginners who feel like they aren't playing anything musical, but if you focus on a small area like that, you can be musical right away. And it works for advanced players too, who are overplaying and then becoming scalar sounding or like they're playing something rehearsed. When you focus on fewer notes, you're able to listen to the music better and be more melodic as a result. When you do limitation practice, think about these things here that will make you sound more interesting and musical. So think about rhythm, space, maybe slides, how about hammer-ons? Pull-offs. Vibrato. bends. Let's expand our limitation practice to include all 5 notes of the minor pentatonic scale. But this time, instead of using the traditional box scale like we were using, we're going to use the diagonal pentatonic. And that looks like this. That's the 5 notes, and then I play the next octave, and then the final octave. But I don't want to play all of those. I want to play just the middle part here. The same 4 fret positions we were playing before, and then this 5th one. So we're really only adding this note to what we were doing. And now we're going to improvise with that note in there so that we can use it for additional slides, additional notes, all of the above. In fact, if you really want to focus your limitation practice on one particular technique, that's a great method if you want to work on only hammer-ons. That's a great idea to work on your limitation practice, and only do that. You can make all the kind of mistakes you want to make, and it's not going to matter so much because you know that you're really focusing in on that technique and speeding up the process of getting better at hammer-ons or pull-offs or bends or slides or whatever it may be that you're focused on. And when you're doing these limitation practices, always make sure to do them over backing tracks. That is what's going to develop your musicality. Doing it over a metronome is really not going to help. You want to have that harmonic context. It's as simple as typing in A minor backing track into YouTube. Tons of tracks will come up, and you can play your A minor pentatonic scale over top of that, but don't play it scalar. Do your limitation and only work on 2 notes or 4 notes, whatever the case may be. You're going to quickly discover that playing less is actually more, and your musicality is going to develop quicker doing this method. And always remember, when you're soloing, listen to all of the music that's going into your ear holes. Listen to your guitar, listen to the backing track, and make sure that all of that is meshing when you're playing. Listening to and playing along with everything that is going on in a piece of music is going to make you sound like a pro musician, no matter how few or how many notes you end up playing. Now, if you want to dive a little deeper into the diagonal pentatonics and how to phrase with them, I recently made a lesson about that very subject right here. You can watch that next.